and to thank you for being here. America's First Latinos is an initiative of the Remembrance Project, and our goal is to let our country know that our views as Latinos are not being accurately represented by many of our elected officials, and especially the mainstream media. As Americans who happen to be Latinos, we are for legal immigration, the Constitution, and American families. You will have a chance to ask questions once we're finished. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first speaker is Maria Espinoza. She is the co-founder and national director of the Remembrance Project.
And then when I get there, you just go ahead.
I'll get her. Gotcha.
Yeah, I forgot my sound effects. I was supposed to play.
She had that ready, the applause ready.
The applause and the woo.
You don't have to do it.
Here's a short interview.
As Fallon said, my name is Maria Espinoza. I'm co-founder and national director of the Remembrance Project. For 5.5 years, we have traveled across the country, remembering and memorializing Americans who've been killed by illegal aliens. We have been raising awareness and educating club members, legislators, public servants, average American people as to the ill effects of illegal immigration and a wide open border that allows unfettered access to our families. It is because of all we have learned that we are here today making this formal plea, calling for enforcement of immigration laws and border security. And why is this plea unique? Because it comes from the lips of Latinos. And we refuse to allow the racist narratives from other Latinos who are paid to spread untruths, such as opposing illegal immigration is racist. That is not the truth. And that illegal immigration is good for America. In fact, illegal immigration is a breach of our nation's security. Another lie, that enforcing laws and doing away with sanctuary city policies is a racial profiling tactic. Again, nothing is further from the truth. And the last one, wanting a secure border is somehow racist. And the truth is that if our laws were enforced and sanctuary city policies removed, our border was secured, tens of thousands of Americans would still be here today with their families. America would be much safer. Listen to what just took place in the last 3.5 months right here in Texas. On May 19th, a Splendora firefighter, Brad Frazier, and his wife were killed by an illegal alien drunk driver. The couple's 2 daughters no longer have a family. The 2 babies are permanently separated from their loved ones. On May 17th, an EMS dispatcher from Garland, Candace Crystal Nuncio, 28, also a mother of 2, killed by an illegal alien drunk driver, orphaning her children, again permanently separating her children from their mother. On January 31st, Spencer Goldbatch was waiting at a traffic light after dropping off his girlfriend from her birthday dinner, shot in the head by an illegal alien who also shot 3 other people that evening, 2 of them fatally. Spencer was an entrepreneur, employed 9 people, had 3 jobs, had a very good relationship, close relationship with his entire family who loved him very much. Shot by a man who was illegally in the country, 4 times deported, and spent 63 months in the federal prison. Today, Mr. Goldbatch would be here as well, speaking to you. However, on Saturday, he was also hit by an illegal alien who ran through a stop sign. He cannot come here today. He is resting and healing. Illegal immigration is destroying American families, one life at a time. And as a Latina, I will work to reveal the truth that what is morally right. I will stand by my fellow Americans for border security and for the enforcement of immigration laws. I thank you for your time, and I would call up here to speak to you is Laura Wilkerson. Mrs. Wilkerson's son, Joshua, was murdered by an illegal alien in 2010. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura Wilkerson. Thank you for inviting me, Maria, and allowing me to tell a little bit about my story. In 2010, I sent my son to school one day, and apparently a classmate asked him for a ride home. That day, Josh didn't come home. We searched for him and finally found his vehicle. And then somebody was arrested for it, and I'm going to kind of fast forward into the trial, which was 2 years later. I sat in the front row of the trial watching and had to see the kid who murdered Josh. His parents had brought him here from Belize when he was 10. I had to sit here and listen to this man mumble about his culture was different, his culture was different. But the first thing I had to see as a mom sitting in that trial was they opened it with where they found Josh. And it was a video, and it went out through the field quite a ways, and there you saw my son Josh in a fetal position with no socks or shoes on. His face was covered up by a school shirt. He was bound from his neck to the back of his hands to his feet. He was burned. He had been set on fire. And to sit there and listen and to know that just if the current laws had been enforced, my son would still be alive today. It just boggles my mind that we're even up here talking about there's boundaries around everything, certainly around coming into this country. It just makes no sense to me. As far as my family goes, it's like a bomb that's gone off in our family. We will never, ever, ever be the same people that we were before that day. We can never repair ourselves to before like we were. It's changed our relationships with our surviving children. As parents, husband and wife, it's changed everything. My parents, Josh's grandparents, it's been a nightmare. Trust me, you do not want to survive what we have survived. You do not want to wait until you have to stand up here and wear a shirt that has your son's name on it. It's too late then. I hope that you will listen now before it happens to you and your family and just enforce the current laws and just secure the border. Secure the border first and then enforce the laws that are in place. And then you will not have to be up here like myself and my family that's just blown apart. Thank you so much.
Nice job. And when you're ready. In November of 2014, President Obama signed a series of executive actions which not only opened our borders with a saloon door mentality, it also opened our jails here in Texas and across the nation. Let me give you a couple of statistics about the amount of criminal illegal aliens that are committing crimes here in the U.S. and in Texas especially that have been released from our county jails. Currently, ICE policy is to remove only illegal aliens convicted of a serious or violent felony or with at least 3 misdemeanor charges. And it's important for the nation to know that In 2014, the executive orders removed all prior deportation information from an illegal alien's record. So in essence, and I'm not sure the public has any idea about this, but when you do that, when you start off with a clean slate, you have ICE now starting over with fresh criminal history and any kind of fresh crime that they've committed, and they're able to start over. So a restarting of past criminal history is now completely discounted. It's not used by ICE authorities on the deportation system. So when you set those standards back like that, then we now have in our society a complete new set of criminal illegal aliens performing criminal acts here in Texas and across the nation. Current ICE policies detain only those illegal aliens who are convicted of violent or very serious felonies. And that's where it all starts. Many criminal aliens released to await proceedings do not appear. The federal government is essentially releasing folks on a promise to appear here in Texas and in other states, and the no-show rate on criminal illegal aliens who are supposed to show up and have been asked to show up and told to show up, we have a failure rate of at least 90% on that. So the message to Texans and folks in this country is this series of executive actions have raised the criminal element here in our state to a level that we've never seen. And it's important that the word get out that these series of executive actions, that people take the time to go back and check exactly what's happening here with the criminal element as far as our illegal aliens and the process that's being used to jail them. So they are being released at an alarming rate. Thank you.
That was Sheriff Lauterbach, and we really want to thank him for showing up and being supportive of us. My name is George Rodriguez, and I am a member of the America First Latino organization. I am also a former Tea Party president in San Antonio. I feel I'm kind of unique in several situations. First of all, I was born and raised along the border. In fact, one of the great privileges and prides that I have in my life is that my father actually organized a union way back when unions used to argue and fight for American workers. Organized a union back in the 40s to protect American jobs from illegal aliens crossing the border. I also had the privilege of working in the Reagan administration, and I worked in the Reagan administration actually on the 1986 immigration law, the very law that has been shredded, beginning unfortunately in 1989. The situation that we see is a constant barrage where the media and politicians seem to think that all of us whose last name is Rodriguez or Gonzalez or whatever Latino name, somehow that we just scurried across the border, and that somehow we have empathy towards those that are breaking the law. I had the opportunity to participate in a Texas Tribune panel a couple of years ago here in Austin. And during the process, during the Q&A period, one of the illegal aliens, who probably announced that she was here in the United States illegally, wanted to know if my grandparents had come across the border illegally. I am proud that I can tell you that my grandparents on one side were Tejanos who were here before 1836, and I have other grandparents that actually crossed and paid to come into the United States legally. However, the issue is that if I had any grandparents, if I had any family members that had broken the law, whether it was a speeding ticket, whether it was a major felony, I would not sympathize with that individual. And I find it absolutely shocking and stunning that people think that somehow because we are Latinos, that somehow because we are of Hispanic, whatever that is, of Hispanic origin, that somehow we are supposed to be sympathetic towards people who have broken the law. What we need to do, my friends, those of you that are out there that are Latinos and who are American first, need to understand that once you let a camel's nose into the tent, then it won't be long before the rest of the camel is in. We must stop rewarding, we must stop excusing, we must stop looking the other way when an individual breaks the law and comes into the United States and further breaks laws. What's the point of being a U.S. citizen if non-citizens are getting the same benefits, privileges, and rights as citizens? We as Latinos must speak out and must make sure that the rest of the world understands that this is a country of law and order. That's what has made it great, is that we all have equal access to the law, but the laws must be obeyed. And when the laws are not obeyed, starting at the border, then what kind of society do we degenerate into? My family, not to the degree that others, thank heaven, but we have been affected by illegal alien crime, where my niece a couple of years ago was rear-ended by an illegal alien who was drunk and then just ran off, you know, practically laughing at the fact that he had been in an accident and he didn't really care, because there's nothing that could be done about it. My friends, our organization, and not only our organization, but our efforts must be throughout the United States to tell people that there are Latinos, there are many of us who are American first and who want the enforcement of immigration laws and who want the border secure, who do not agree with the idea that anybody can come into the United States helter-skelter without any permission, any more than anybody can move into your house without permission. We also must understand, my friends, that we cannot turn our country into the world's orphanage by letting the rest of the world just send their kids and then establish anchors that thereby they can utilize at a later date. We are a nation of laws. We are the greatest nation in the world. And I can fully appreciate and understand why somebody would want to come to the United States. Everybody does. But just like you can't go into a Rockets game or a Spurs game without a ticket, the same thing. The same logic must be followed in immigration. You can't enter the country just because you want to. And it's time that we draw the line. Thank you very much.
Good.
Nice job.
Does anyone want to say anything else?
There was a reporter here and he left.